Hello, folks. Welcome to the Deep Fried Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Fry, and thanks for listening. Well, it was an amazing weekend of football, and to get things started off on Saturday, Minnesota headed up to Santa Clara, to play the 49ers, and it ended up being exactly what I thought it would be. Tennessee then went up to Baltimore and did what I thought could happen, but nobody else did. 30-1 odds for the Titans to win the Super Bowl? Hey, I'm glad I put $20 on that. Henry was a beast. Houston went to Kansas City, 21-0 in the first quarter for the Houston Texans. Woof. It looked like Houston was going to do the Chiefs just what the Titans did to Baltimore. But nope. Kansas City scored 28 straight points in the second quarter, en route to 41 straight and 51 overall with 7 straight touchdown drives, a playoff record. And the last game of the weekend was the Seahawks up in Green Bay to play the Packers. The Packers eked it out. They had a really fast start. It was slowed down, and the Seahawks clawed back just to come up a little bit short. That Rodgers magic was on full display. And it was just a really great weekend of football. I enjoyed the heck out of it, folks. There was also some coaching hirings, and we'll get to that. But let me get to this. In the Niners game, it was like right off the bat, 7 points to Bourne, touchdown pass for Jimmy G. Then 7 points to Diggs, touchdown pass for Cousins. But after that, it kind of just slowed down. The 49ers kept on trucking, and the player of the game, on offense at least, had to be Tevin Coleman. 22 carries, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You just never really know who's going to tote the rock for most of the game. Is it going to be Coleman? Is it going to be Mostert? Is it going to be Breda? They're all starting running backs, and they're really great at sharing time. Amazing job by the zone run blocking scheme of Kyle Shanahan to get guys into gaps, open spaces, 5 yards here, 10 yards there. It just really, you could tell that it was just wearing down the Vikings defense. But the spotlight of the game was obviously the 49ers defense. They held the Vikings to 21 yards rushing. And you know, they do have a running back by the name of Dalvin Cook. He had 9 carries for 18 yards. Oh, 2 yards per carry average. That hurts. But, hey, what are you going to do? Niners win it 27-10. In the next game, Tennessee just came out and whacked Baltimore in the mouth. They were just so good and just kept turning the ball over, making points out of it. I mean, it was 28-6 in the third quarter. For Baltimore, it was a great season, but it came to an end because of Derrick Henry. Oh my goodness, that guy is amazing. 30 carries, 195 yards, 3 games in a row with 180 or more yards. He is a beast. Apparently his nickname is the Little Tractor, but I'd like to change it to the Motor. I think I heard someone say that. You know, it's that guy on top of the motorcycle. Sunday afternoon, the first game was Houston at Kansas City. Texans started fast, 21-0 in the first quarter. It was like, what's going on here? Is this going to be a blowout for Houston in Kansas City? I just can't see that. After the first quarter, they got another field goal, making it 24-0. But, of course, Kansas City, with the firepower that they have, all of a sudden woke up and scored 28 straight points to end the half, 28-24. Third quarter, nothing changed. Kansas City went on to score another 13 points. Would have been 14 without that missed extra point. But they scored 41 straight points after it was 24-0 Houston. So the score was 41-28. A little bit of back and forth happened after that. Mostly garbage time. A lot of players still in there I thought should have been out. Like Frank Clark and Patty Mahomes was still out there for a few plays when it was definitely out of hand. Final score 51-41. Wow, the Chiefs, they look good. I don't know if anybody could stop them. And in the night game, the Packers downed the Seahawks 28-23. Packers were up, I believe it was 21-3. Yeah, 21-3 at halftime. Seahawks came out strong and it went 14-7 in the third quarter. It was 17-28 going into the fourth. Seahawks got another touchdown, missed the 2-point conversion, and the Packers pretty much just killed the clock in the end. Highlights in this game were, Aaron Rodgers going 16 for 27, 243 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 8 of those 16 throws throws were to Devontae Adams for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm sure that the 49ers are glad that they're playing the Packers again instead of the Seahawks for a third time. They beat the Packers 37-8 at home during the season, and they split it with the Seahawks. I think if I were a 49er, I'd rather play the Packers again at home. So next week's matchups are as this. The AFC Championship game will be Sunday at 1:05 p.m. That's Mountain Time, folks. So Sunday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern. And the NFC Championship game will be at 6:40 Eastern. The Titans are going to Kansas City for the earlier game. The Packers are going to San Francisco for the later games. So there's some pretty good matchups. You know, this Titans team does remind me of the old Titans team with Steve McNair and Eddie George and those guys who went to the Super Bowl and eventually barely lost to the Rams. If you can remember, McNair passed the ball to Dyson, and Dyson was tackled right before the goal line to end the game. But yeah, it just seems like they're not flashy. They don't do that much, but they just get it done. And you could tell in that game versus Baltimore, they just out-physicaled everybody. It was really just a testament to the strength and conditioning coaches and just the guys on offense and defense just mauling people, and I really appreciated that kind of football. Of course, we also had some coaching changes this past week and a half. We all know Ron Rivera went to take over at Washington. I was hoping he would go to Dallas, but Dallas got McCarthy after Rivera was off the market. Matt Rule went to Carolina, which sent the Giants into a frenzy, and they hired Joe Judge, whoever that is. Had to do some research to really figure it out. And the Cleveland Browns hired offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski. I think the best hire to me, it's either between Ron Rivera and Matt Rule. I mean, Ron Rivera's proven he's been a head coach in this league for a while. Matt Rule seems to be able to turn programs around very quickly. And with all the pieces in place in Carolina, I think he has a pretty good chance of doing something there. Depends on what they do at quarterback. Are they going to keep Cam Newton? Are they going to move on from him and try Kyle Allen? Or are they going to draft a new guy and try to get him going? It's just, I'm not sure. But everything else, they got a great defense in Carolina. They have probably, the second best rushing attack in the league with McCaffrey. And they should be pretty good this next year, I think. Watch out for the Carolina Panthers maybe to make the playoffs next year. Stefanski in Cleveland. I mean, I argue that taking a Cleveland job as your first job ever is probably a really good idea, because if you fail there, it's okay. It's Cleveland. Everybody fails there. So many coaches have come and gone that it's really not that bad if you've been fired there, unless it was your second head coaching job, a la Hugh Jackson. I think a new young face will help them there, but it's just such a tire fire. We won't know what's going to happen until the season goes on. I just don't want to hear Cleveland fan year after year, we're going to be great, Super Bowl bound. Well, hold on. Why don't you try winning the division first, guys? That's probably a good idea. Joe Judge for the New York Giants. I hear he was mostly a special teams coach. He did do some wide receiver coaching this last year. Unfortunately, the wide receiver core for the New England Patriots was probably the worst in the league. So how he got a head coaching job after that performance, I do not know. And it's been shown that the Bill Belichick coaching tree is not very successful outside of Bill O'Brien, and he got whooped today. It was like, man, that Houston game. It was Houston up 21-0. It was a blowout, but then it was a good game all of a sudden when the Chiefs came back. And then it was a blowout on the other side. I mean, crazy football this weekend. None of the games really stood out to me as really that great of games or exciting in any way. Mostly they were just won earlier in the games, and it just was catch-up for everybody else. Next week we have 49ers and Packers, and the NFC Championship, and the Chiefs and Titans in the AFC Championship. Anyways, folks, thanks for listening. If you could subscribe to my channel, I would much appreciate it. And if you share it with your friends, that'd be great too, Get me a little bit more out there. Thanks, folks. Music has been provided by Ben Sounds. Oh, Ben! I love your sounds. Thank you. Goodbye.